What's going on, guys? It's Manuel Godoy from Black Sands Entertainment, and I'm here with Royce from Stowe Harbor Comics. He is the
Hey,
creator
hey,
legend of Althea, which you've seen on the BSP Comics app, so you know what's up. Royce, say hello to the crowd.
what's up? First of all, thanks for having me on and doing this. Really excited. Yeah, Legend of Althea on BSP Comics. I'm loving that experience, by the way, too. You're really killing it with that app.
Got you. That's what's up. So, first of all, everybody knows my story, but yours, Royce. How did you get into comic books? Why did you get into comic books, and when did you start?
Yeah, so I started in 2017 is when I actually launched my first comic book series, Biopunks, which I'm re-releasing with updated artwork and everything, along with Legend of Althea. Got into that in 2017 when I just had a kind of like a need just to kind of get my stories out there. I actually have a background in filmmaking, and I've directed, produced my own short films, and all that work. Trying to work my way up to a feature, and I didn't want to just sit on a lot of ideas that I have because my mind gears towards science fiction, which
Mhm.
can get a little complicated when you're trying to make a movie. But instead of just sitting on these ideas, I was like, you know what? Let me see if there's another way to go about doing this. And loved reading comics growing up, and so I figured, let me give that a shot. And definitely was not as easy as I thought it was going to be because I figured, oh, I read comics. It's cool. You just write and then get somebody to draw. No, it is tough. But yeah, so that's kind of like how I got started into that. Did the comic book convention scene. Met a lot of great people, like-minded artists, a lot of talent from the indie market space coming out there. And then obviously through that journey have found your page and everything you've got going on. And just kept going, kept learning, and eventually got to doing my second comic book series, Legend of Althea, which we dropped at the top of 2020.
Roger that. Yeah, so that's been pretty cool. Legend of Althea is one of the books I definitely liked the most, mostly because it was different. It wasn't some
Mm,
superhero out there kicking faces in and taking names, right, or anything like that.
hmm
The only
Right.
thing she can do is heal people, and it costs a lot. Costs a lot to heal people.
Mm.
Thought it was an interesting premise, right? It's like the idea of, is it worth it? Is it worth it? It's almost every time she uses her healing power, she got to ask herself, is it worth it? You know,
Right.
and that's pretty dope.
Thank you.
So one thing is, right now you're currently doing your first ever Kickstarter, though it's not a Kickstarter, it's a Zoop, a new platform
Yes.
similar to
hmm
Kickstarter. So
Right.
before we go and talk about that, what the heck is Zoop? Please fill us all in on.
Yeah. So Zoop actually, I found them just when I was thinking about starting my own Kickstarter. Um, I don't know, just something was like, I wonder if there's something out there that is like Kickstarter or Indiegogo, but like specifically for comics. So I just kind of Googled it. And Zoop was actually one of the things that showed up. So I clicked on their page, checked them out, and they were fairly new. They had a couple projects under their belt, and I was just kind of reading what they were about. And I really liked that their model, like I said, pretty similar to Kickstarter, but their model is very geared towards pre-orders, ordering in that sense, as far as like wordage goes, versus like rewards and tiers and things like that. It seemed more like a actual like shopping experience. So the goal is still
Okay.
the same, to fund these projects, and then to be released at a later date. But you kind of go in like psychologically thinking like it's more of just like, oh, I'm ordering these comics. Like it's not so much about getting this reward system. You get the comics, you get your T-shirt, you get this, you get blah blah blah. All that stuff. It's just, if you just
Now,
want the comics, you order the comics. What
yeah.
was
Now,
that?
I've been wondering. Like, I looked at them. It's not clear what their pricing model is. Right? Are they
Mm-hmm.
printers themselves? Like, are they actually creating the merchandise themselves and fulfilling it?
So
I was
that was
getting
the
that vibe, but I didn't know if it was real or not because they don't have a place to explain that.
Yeah, so what the biggest draw for me was that they do the fulfillment side of things. So they do the printing, they do the shipping, distribution, which I thought was huge versus the other way around where, you're doing that yourself. And, if you got things figured out, cool, no problem. But for someone who's new to the game, coming up, not really sure where to go, I thought that was actually a very unique way of doing it. And up until that point, they've been working with everyone they've worked with, or the campaigns they've run have been actual like professional artists in the industry. So I kind of looked at that. I was like, okay, if these people, are trusting them to do this, might be worth just reaching out to them and kind of seeing how things go. So yeah,
Well,
that's how I came out
we'll
to that.
definitely figure it out because one thing is, after the campaign's over and stuff, I'm gonna have a conversation with you just to learn about how the platform works. It might be a
Yeah.
viable option for creators. It might not. You never know, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I need to know more about what the heck they actually charge for and what they do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because right now they don't have a page for that at all. It's like they keep everything's like behind an NDA or something. Like they won't freaking actually give you public information about. I guess they're trying to figure out their prices right now, right? So it's probably very volatile as far as like what they're charging and what if they just started, they don't want to be hard committed to anything, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
just got to figure out what it is. So let's go look at this campaign. I have it pulled up already.
Cool.
So we're here, and let me go down to. Well, I'm all the way at the bottom, but let's go up to the top. All right. So far, looks like your campaign's pretty successful right now. It's $5,100 with
Thank you. Yeah, we're
70,
almost there.
yeah, 70 supporters and 12 days left. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I did put the link right under our name. So if you see it right here, just constantly scrolling at the bottom, zoop.gg and then Stone Harbor Comics. You could probably just see them if you just go to zoop.gg because I don't think they have too many campaigns on at the same time, right?
Yeah, right now I believe it's just 3 going on right now, which is also kind of like the other big difference between Zoop and the other platforms is their take is very more personal. You actually, you're working with them. It's
Yeah.
not so much you sign up for an account and anybody can make it. So yeah, they got about like 3 going on, including mine.
Got you. All right, so let's go down to what we actually get. All right, so you can get Legend and Althea, right? How big is this
Mm-hmm.
book?
So this will be it's a full volume, so it'll be a total of 5 issues. We're looking at 22 to 24 pages each for each issue. So we're looking at 130 plus pages for each volume.
Gotcha. Okay, that's pretty cool. When do I get some
And with
copies
each,
of physical books?
hey man, as soon as this thing's done, I got you.
Got you.
But yeah,
Okay,
so
we also got Biopunks here as well. Now, is this the new version of Biopunks or is this the old version of Biopunks?
this is the new version. Yeah, this pretty much you could think of it as a reboot. And so with each one, you have the option of getting one of the other Legend of Althea or Biopunks. Kind of what I did a little bit differently is I'm doing the campaign as Stone Harbor Comics, and you're choosing which comic you want to back, or if you want to back both, versus kind of like the more standard way of doing things where it's just the focus is just one comic book. So it's more of kind of along the lines of supporting more of like my comic book company, and then you have the option and the power to choose how you want to support that.
Okay, so if I paid $250, I can get that last slot to get drawn in Legend of Althea. That sounds like a good idea.
Yes. Yeah. So that's one of the extra bonuses you can add on to your order. Get on into Legend of Althea. Yeah, 2 spots that we have for that. One's already been taken, so we got one more, and then we still have 2 spots open for Biopunks. And then
So
you see there's some.
if you've never seen Legend of Althea, right, this is the style of it. It's very like a modern, kind of tech vibe to it, right? It's a very modern style. Almost looks like animation, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
And
that was the key we were going for. We wanted something very vibrant and style wise, something that the young audience can kind of relate to. And for me, growing up in the '90s, I kind of wanted to bring some of that like '90s style, the vibrancy of the '90s back in like a more modern take.
got you. Yeah, and right now, you guys can go and support him. You definitely should for sure, because if you want to get some of these books anyway, pretty good price. 25 bucks for anthology. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
5 issues, something like that. It's pretty nice for an independent person. They're not They're not millionaires, right? They're not going to walk around with the best print cost in the world. So, it's a pretty cheap price to get that much in one book. I would definitely support it. Now, as far as the app is concerned, how has things been going with that? How has the experience been? Working there, and
Hmm.
like what do you feel? What's been going on? How's your vibe on that?
Yeah, no, like I said, I've been really liking the experience, and then even like as far as like publishing standpoint. So putting out the comics, putting out the episodes on there, I like the flow. I like pretty much kind of like how you I forgot the verbiage in the actual app, but how you prioritize like the discovery of of the different stories that you have on there. And
Yeah.
so kind of like going through that app, it's not so much just about like, hey, here's my comic, here's my comic, here's my comic. It's like you can go in there to read somebody else's story, and then by chance discover mine, or like vice versa, I can discover a different story. And my
Yeah, especially
favorite
if you have
feature.
lore cards. Especially if you have lore cards,
Yes.
you'll get discovered a lot more than somebody who doesn't have lore cards. You
Yes,
know.
and that's what I was about to say. That's my favorite feature. I actually had a lot of fun doing those lore cards, and just the concept of like digital, like collecting digital cards, and how that, where it goes beyond just collecting, but like how it adds to the story, where you can throw in a bunch of stuff that might not be in the episodes, but then people can learn more on the side and kind of keep them engaged that way. So yeah,
Yeah.
that part I love.
Yeah, we just came up with some two major updates that the next one, the second update's coming up in like a week or two, where it's advertising. So once we get the advertising in there, we're going to start pumping money into the app again, right? Because
Nice.
now we have a way to measure the profitability of a user, right? How much money do we get out of an individual user through the lifespan of their thing? Usually you typically say like in the first month, how much revenue do you generate from a user?
Hmm.
If it's equivalent or slightly more than the acquisition costs, then you have an infinitely scalable product, right? So you have to check that first to see if that's the case,
Hmm.
right? So we're gonna be doing a lot of testing, and during that testing phase, there's gonna be a ridiculous amount of traffic coming back into the app, like the good old days. If you've noticed recently, I have been paying to put traffic into the app, mostly because we already proved what we needed to prove. We got like 100,000
Hmm.
downloads, right? And then I
Nice.
was like, all right, now we still don't have a way to make money off of these people. So let's go ahead and hold our horses, save our money, get the features in there that will get us the money we need, and then pump the money back in there and see what happens, right? So that's what we're gonna be
Hmm.
doing. It's gonna be a lot of traffic on there. The other feature that we have on there besides the advertising is also the ability to schedule updates. So that big bar right at the top of the main page, right?
Hmm.
So we're gonna be able to customize that with deep links, customize that without links, right? So like say like this Kickstarter campaign or whatever, right? I'm this Zoop,
Hmm.
right? When we start having like really heavy traffic on there, and I say, all right, I'm gonna give you a post, I'm gonna give you control of the bar for like one day, right? There might be like 2,000-3,000 people on there that day, right? Or 10,000 people on and off that day, right? That are coming through the app, and they're gonna see that as the first thing they see is like, yo, we go in. You said, yo, support this thing if you love this story right here from Legend of Althea. They need they're getting funding right now, right? And now you got all those people clicking in, which is like probably like the most powerful type email you can ever send out, right? And I can just change that out.
Yeah.
What, right? Somebody got a new series come on there. I can send everybody to that series that day. I could talk about if you got like a new season of books coming out. Let's say a lot of
Hmm.
people like doing season releases, right? So they'll do like 6 episodes in a row and then upload them like you know very quickly, right? As opposed to doing one every like week or something. They'll do like a whole bunch in a short
Yeah.
period of time and then go away. I can say, hey, new season of Legend of Althea, go and subscribe to the series now, and then anybody for like that day are going to be able to just click that and go right to your series, regardless of where it is on the list or whatever, right? And
Nice.
I think that's a powerful tool. I'm gonna try to train everybody up so that they can put their own updates into like a spreadsheet, just so I can say, I could just copy and paste, right? I
Mm-hmm.
can schedule them out, so I don't have to do it on the margin. I could schedule out like an entire month's, right? Freaking like,
Nice.
that way I don't have to ever like go and make sure that it happens. It's set, right? So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you never know, right? I mean, I think it's gonna be
Yeah.
pretty cool, and hopefully, we're gonna do big things this Christmas because Christmas is on us. I think we're gonna try to do some kind of Christmas theme in there.
Dope. Yeah, I love it. And word spreading too, because a friend of mine from Virginia, he shared my Zoop campaign, and he got a comment on there like, "Oh snap! I think I heard about this through the BSP comic app." I was like, "Oh snap! Okay, awesome."
Yeah, you'd be surprised how many people use the app. We just gotta figure out what we need
Hmm.
to do to get people in there, because eventually we're gonna start, sending some massive offers out there, right? Right now we're not
Hmm.
doing it yet, but eventually we're gonna start just trying to acquire everybody, right? But that's because there's a lot of big things happening in the future that are so big that they might potentially like break everything,
Mm.
I just feel like most people are going to say yes at that point. You know.
Got it. Got it. I feel you.
Let's see. Anthony Harlot has a question. I don't know what he's talking about though. Let's see. Harriet. Anthony Harriet. Sorry, I just joined. Just considering purchasing $1,000. Can I just invest in comic sales, or are you migrating towards app subscriptions? I don't necessarily know what you're talking about. Are you talking about this Royce's campaign on Zoop, which is more like Kickstarter, or are you talking about my investment round, which is totally not what this is about? so, so I
I
don't, I,
I think it's your I think it's your investment round. But if it is Althea by chance, go ahead. Just yeah, I will take the $1,000.
yeah. Yeah. So if it is about the investment round, the current investment round is for BSP Comics app. That's what it's for. It's for the app, ownership of the app. That's what you're buying, stock. All right. Uh, any more questions? Let's take some questions from the crowd. So if you have any questions at all about me or Royce, especially Royce and his series and what he's doing right now, please just leave it and I'll start pulling them up. All good, Anthony. I got you. I got you. I kind of got that vibe because you said $1,000. I was like, that's way too much for a Kickstarter. He don't got
I
no
was like,
thousand
hey,
dollar tier.
I appreciate that support.
He said he ain't got no $1,000 tiers. So I don't know what tier you talking about.
Right?
Yeah. So let's see. I'm just gonna wait for the questions. Usually it's like a 60-second delay
Mhm.
for
Yeah.
comments and stuff. But
And
yeah,
what I could do too, if somebody's just joined, yeah, I can just kind of like give the rundown too. If you join and you're like, what are those images I'm looking at? So yeah, this is for my crowdfunding campaign. Started launch my own comic book company, Stone Harbor Comics, and I'm currently crowdfunding 2 of my comic book series. One being Biopunks. The one you see on screen is Legend of Althea, about a girl who gets the ability to heal people, but it comes at a great cost to herself, as she takes on the pain and trauma of those she heals. And so it's teen coming of age story, Black female lead, and yeah, just trying to kickstart or jumpstart, I should say, the comic book process, getting that out to you guys, getting these books made,
okay.
and yeah, they're available to read on BSP Comics right now as well.
All right. Question for you. What's the greatest lesson creating this series has taught you?
Ooh, greatest lesson. I would say having a clear vision of what you want and being able to properly express and explain that vision to your artist. Because for me, I can't draw, so I have to hire an artist, and so knowing what you want, knowing what the story is, and how you want the world to play out, everything that goes into that, having a clear vision before you even say anything to the artist. Because this was actually, really, I should say it's a lesson I learned from my first comic, Biopunks, was that I just kind of jumped in head first. I was like, I want to make a comic, let's do this, and it was like, let's do this, this, and this, and then I get the artwork back, like, crap, okay, that doesn't work. Let's hold on, let's actually do this, you know, and so that that becomes a problem if the artist has already drawn X, Y, and Z, and then you now have to redo everything. So you're pretty much making a whole other comic at that point. So that's probably the greatest lesson I've learned, was just to have a clear, full understanding and knowledge of what you want your vision to be.
Okay. Is there a patron?
Yes, there is a Patreon. So I do have a Patreon. It's also it'll be under my name, Royce Atkins, on Patreon, and the headline will say Stone Harbor Comics as well. So if you want to support me through Patreon, I would be super grateful for that as well.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I think we already answered this one, so I'm not going to answer that one again because I think he just talked about those pitfalls that he had to work around. Here's a good question. How was it writing as a female character lead?
Good question. I would say it was, it could be somewhat difficult at times. I would say mainly because, you want to make sure you're portraying the character in the right light. Just because, obviously being a guy, it's like I obviously see the world a certain way, but it also kind of came naturally at the same time because I grew up older sister, younger sister, and even with my mom. So I actually I took a lot of inspiration from them and just taken from that growing up. So I was able to still, I consider them great models of how how a character should be and how a character should be portrayed. So having those influences, I think, made it a lot easier, and it's just making sure that through me I channel that and hone in on it.
Got you. I'll chime in on this one as well because I do write some stories that have female leads in them. The idea is, what is the character for the story, right? You have the premise of the story, right? Which race, which freaking which sex, which whatever is going to fit that story narrative as best as possible, right? Like with his story, could he have done a person whose only power is to heal and suffers dramatically from the act of doing so? Could he have done that as a male? I'm sure he could have. Would it have been as impactful? Probably not, right? Because there's already so many set standards for men, right? That there's too many stereotypes to lead the reader to feel any empathy for the guy, whereas a woman is like, oh man, look at all she's doing, right? It's just a kind of vibe, you know what I'm saying? So so you have to think of that, you have to think of that when you're writing stuff is which one is going to give the biggest impact to the thing. Unless you're going with history with me, right? I'm always writing history or something, so I have to set in stone, right? I'm not going to pull a freaking fake stay night and make King Arthur a woman, right? With huge boobs, right?
right.
just because the story demands waifus, right? Let's see. Let's see here. All right, so we're good to go on that. Let's go ahead and let's look at the campaign one last time. What I want you guys to do, if you feel like buying some comics today, you can buy Legend of Althea from this Kickstarter campaign. You also not just Legend of Althea, but also Biopunks, right? All that stuff. He's at 5,100 right now, and he's close to his goal. 12 days. I think we could do it ourselves personally, but who knows, man? But we should definitely be supporting creators who actually supported us. Remember, he didn't have to go to BSP Comics. He is a non-featured title. He didn't get paid to show up. He just decided, why not try them too? If I gave it to
Mm-hmm.
Webtoons, why not BSP Comics? And let's see what happens. So that
Right.
takes
Absolutely.
that takes a lot of faith. It takes a lot of faith in trying somebody's platform and giving them a chance. So we always got to give back to the people who have given us a shot. Right? We do the exact same thing for them. So we make sure that we support our own. He's one of our own. Definitely support his campaign. The link is right below. If you just look at that scrolling sentence, it's just zoop.gg. You don't have to look hard. You don't have to write the rest. Just go to zoop.gg, and he's
Yep.
probably going to be one of the first 3 campaigns you'll see. All right.
And also want to note too, another option that's on there is an option for a digital version that includes American Sign Language interpretation as well. Because another big thing that I'm trying to do is increase accessibility for more people to get into comics or enjoy comics as well. So if you know someone who could benefit from that, that is also an option for the campaign.
All right, cool. Well, that sounds great. So thank you so much for showing up. Thank you all for your questions, and be sure to support his campaign if you can. Right? Don't go broke if you can't. Something nothing wrong with that. It don't
Yep.
have to be everybody. Just the people with means. Right? Go out there
Mm-hmm.
and make your voice be heard. Remember, your dollars are your voice. You want stories like this created? Spend money. Right? That's the name of the game. That's the name of the game, man. I bought games that I won't even play just because I like the fact that they existed. You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
I'm a big
Mm-hmm.
gamer. So I was like, this game did everything right, and I hate this
Mm-hmm.
kind of game, but it did everything right. So I'm gonna have to buy me a copy just to make sure that they get their numbers, so they make more.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
Right.
you gotta make more. So that's all I want to say, man. We can talk our talk, but we got to put numbers in there. Otherwise, it won't matter, right? Any sound
Mm-hmm.
business person is going to kill projects that cost too much. So we always got to make it easy for them to keep going. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Royce, for showing
Yes.
up, telling everybody about
Thank
your
you. Thank you
story.
for having me.
Yeah, and we're out. Black Sands, #1 in the nation.
Love it.